Withhold not your truth or kindness, Lord. Withhold not your truth or kindness, Lord.
Welcome to The Notice, where together we notice the mercy of God. I'm Susan Hoekstra, your host. On this episode of The Notice, we're joined by my friend Melody Tincknell, founder of Nature Awaits, for a conversation about the beauty of encountering God through the outdoors. If you feel refreshed, grounded, or spiritually renewed in nature, this episode is for you. Together, we will explore how creation can draw us closer to God and awaken us to His presence in everyday moments. Melody is the daughter of the king, yes, a devoted wife to Dan and a loving mother of 4 wonderful children. From a young age, she has always felt most alive when outdoors. Her favorite childhood memories including riding bikes, climbing trees, ice skating, and fishing. Simple adventures that shaped her deep love for nature. Melody holds a bachelor's degree in Parks and Recreation, as well as an Associate of Science in Natural Resource Technology. Her education, paired with her lifelong passion for the outdoors, has prepared her well for the work she loves. Over the years, she has shared that passion by teaching at various nature centers and schools, inspiring others to explore and appreciate the beauty of the natural world. And she has just started Nature Awaits, where she offers programs to help children and families connect with nature. So Melody, welcome to The Notice.
Thank you, Susan. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited that you're here too, and that just like we were talking earlier, that you're using all your package of all the things you are, your interest, your education, everything, and plowing in this. So let's talk about this a little bit. Have you always had a passion for nature?
I have. I feel like as a kid, I always wanted to be outside. I wouldn't sit still, so I just wanted to run outside and engage with whatever I was experiencing.
Did you like the fresh air?
Yeah.
That
might have added to my excitement.
Yeah, and just being outside. What kind of childhood memories about nature's come to mind? What any particular stories or?
I feel like my biggest memory is I grew up with my cousins in Kingsley, and we would climb to the highest pine tree that we could. And my youngest cousin, who was the smallest, he would always be at the very tippy top, and you would see him swaying back and forth on the trees. And then my dad and uncle made maple syrup. And so during the spring, we would help both of them haul maple syrup from all the maple trees behind my aunt and uncle's property and bring all the sap to make maple syrup.
So how tall were these pine trees?
Oh, I mean, as a kid, they felt really tall.
Yeah, of course. I'm just thinking pine trees, did it scratch or I don't know, anyway.
Lots of sap. We were always sticky.
Yeah, of course, with the maple trees too, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So have you included nature as part of your family life? Like how does it fit into your life now, I guess?
We love to take hikes as a family. The boys love climbing trees, and at least mostly fallen trees right now. I haven't let them climb like a living tree that they get too high off the ground.
Well, we have a really nice tree out here that has a little ladder that they can climb. It's a great climbing tree. Bring them over sometime.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like once you get kids climbing up the trees, then like they have no limits. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's important in life, is to know that you have freedom and you don't have to be afraid of things, like afraid of falling, because you can be still grounded in height.
That's interesting that you mentioned that, because we have a swing set on our property, and we had this little girl who was up there the other day, and she just was standing on the top, and she just jumped down, and I was like, oh, she's gonna hurt herself. She was just totally fine. She was like, yeah, I'm fine. And I was like, okay.
Exactly.
And then it reminded me, when I was a child, you wanted that sense of freedom.
Yeah.
Did you feel that when you were outside?
Oh, yeah. Just, there was no walls, and your perspective could just change. Just didn't feel like you're in a cage, I guess. Essentially, you can just be free. Running.
Right. And when she was swinging on the swing set, I thought, I wonder what she's thinking about.
I think that for my kids, too. They all love swinging, especially my daughter. She's only one, and she just begs to get on the swing and to be pushed on the swing. And even if her brothers will put her in the swing and push her, they're just like all smiling and happy. And I'm just like, wonder what they're thinking.
I wonder what they're thinking or what they're processing.
Right.
Because I know for me, and I'm just speaking for myself, the thing that I love about being outside and in nature, like I love to sit by the water and listen to the waves crash. I can do that for hours. I mean, I think that's probably why I live in Traverse City. But there's something about connecting with nature and that quietness that comes, and you can let your mind kind of wander a little bit and process. Does that make sense to you?
It does. It's like when you slow down, and we were talking about rest earlier, and I feel like in nature is the best place to rest for myself. I can go in there and, like you said, just your mind just can wander, but then God kind of like opens your mind up to creativity. And we talked about this a little earlier about I was able to like write poems, and I didn't even think I could write a poem. And I was like, wow, this actually makes sense.
I know. And here on the property, we Freedom Farm offers evening meditations for people just to walk the property and just sit. We have a waterfall here. They might go up to the tree house. They might talk to we have a couple horses. They might just visit them and be outside. And I think there's something that happens to us that processing time, that time to let your mind wander, like that your daughter on the swing. What you thinking about?
Right.
You know? And I think we all need that processing time. And I think, for me, that's the gift of nature. That's even just hiking or being out. Somehow it quiets everything. And as a musician, it turns down everything. Like I've written songs out in taking hikes before. And I'll come home and I'll just write them down because I got them. And they happen in my head. So, I love in the scripture, it talks a lot about the importance of nature. In Job 12, it says, "But ask the animals, and they will teach you, or the birds in the sky, and they will tell you, or speak to the earth, and it will teach you, or let the fish in the sea inform you. Which of all these things does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this? In his hand is the life of every creature and the breath of all mankind." So tell me a little bit, how has nature helped you notice God?
The peace that it brings, because my life is so busy with 4 kids. And then when I can step outside and just slow down and see that the birds are there, all the other insects that he created, and they're all living without all the chaos that I feel like this world can put upon us. And like the back and forth, I feel like driving my kids, to and from school. Just stepping outside and being present outside helps that calm, like bring in that calm.
For me, there's kind of like a sense of order or something, because nature, a lot of these things just happen naturally and organically. It's like, and as human beings with our brains, we're always trying to structure and organize and strategize and all this stuff, but yet there's this order that comes. Like sometimes, like I just look around at nature and go, wow, like this spring, all these hosses just came up. Where did they come from? Okay, I know I'll think about it. Okay, there's bulbs, and there's, of course we have those kinds of mental energies that we can do that. But still, it's like a miracle. Every spring, around here especially, it's like a miracle. Everything just pops up.
I know, I was thinking about that. My friend has a farm, and she breeds chickens, and she had an incubator, and my son, for the first time, got to see a baby chick starting to hatch out of the egg, and it was just like so cool to see it from his perspective. He was like in awe and wonder, like he was just like, wow, this is the most amazing thing ever. And he's only 4 years old. And for him to like be so intently like stopping his body and like using a flashlight to like see into the incubator and see the little beak of the little chick like starting to like poke through the egg was just like, it made me pause and be like, that's exactly why I want to get people connected with nature and feel safe. Like you were talking about the evening meditation here on the farm, and I think a lot of people don't feel safe in nature because they don't fully understand it. And there could be a lot of dangers in nature, like you have to know, like there's poison ivy and there's wasps or things that you need to watch out for. But like I want to bring people into nature so that they feel comfortable and safe, and they don't have to worry about those things that are out there, but creating a safe space.
So was that
explore.
Partly what prompted you to start this program called Nature Awaits?
Yes, my whole thing is community, and I don't like necessarily going on hikes alone, but when I can bring people along with me, I love that, to like see the wonder, especially in a child's eyes when they see a roly-poly. Like my kids are always collecting roly-polies. Even this morning my son found 4 roly-polies, and he was adamant that he bring them in his car seat to school, and then he would let them go on the playground.
What's a roly-poly?
It's like it's like a type of crustacean. It has like the outer shell, or a pill bug.
Okay.
Have you heard those? Yeah.
I think so. I'm just trying to remember. I mean, I know when I was a kid, I loved little inchworms.
Oh yeah, those
And
ones are cute.
I used to put them in a jar and watch them, and I would give them names and all that kind of stuff. So I just never heard the term roly-poly, but maybe some of you listeners out there know what she's talking about. But yeah, I see what you mean. I haven't ever thought about it, nature not being safe. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there are hazards. Mm-hmm. Slip and falls.
Right.
Bugs. Lyme disease.
Yeah, exactly.
Ticks, all that kind of stuff. So part of what you're doing now, so tell me a little bit about Nature Awaits. I know that I'm just going to read the mission you said. You said the mission of Nature Awaits is to inspire and empower families to engage with the natural world, fostering learning and personal growth through meaningful hands-on experiences. So tell me a little bit about that. How did you get going on this? Obviously you have nature background with your degrees and things like that, but tell me how this all came about. What was going on?
I feel like it's just the wonder of when you go and you can pull open a log and see all the life that's under one single log, and the hands-on experience of just like actually touching the dirt and digging in the dirt to find the different insects or worms or like a salamander. I'll share this funny side note. The other one of my classes, I was hiking and we were harvesting some wild ramps or wild leeks. I just happened to move a little bit of a log and a salamander came running out. Mm-hmm. And I actually happened to have a hole in the side of my shoe and it ran into my shoe. And my son, my 7-year-old, he like wanted to share the story with everyone.
Wow.
Because a shoe went into my mom, or a salamander went into my mom's shoe. And we got it out and then they were all wanted to hold it.
Did you feel it like moving around it?
I mean, I had a sock on, but it was just so funny.
All right.
But that's like a memory, gonna be like a really cool memory in my son's mind and the other kids that were present during that, because it was just so random.
Yeah.
But nature is just like, you go out and it's different every day. Even if we're going to the same property, like it can change overnight or even in the moment that you're there. When you turn something over, you see the life that's under the log that you didn't see 5 minutes ago when you were just hiking down the trail, but you stopped to notice that.
Sounds like a sense of wonder.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes.
Are you gearing your programs towards adults, or are you gearing it towards children, or a combination of both, or families?
It's kind of a combination of both currently. Right now, all of our programs have adults come with them. And I think my goal is to have parents feel comfortable being in nature with their kids again. Because I feel like as an adult, you kind of walk away from nature in a sense because you just get so busy with, like, I have to go to school, I have to do all this, and then I have a family.
Laundry.
Yeah, laundry, dishes, like all that stuff. And so you lose connection with nature. But then when you go out with your kids and you get to be hands-on with nature again, I think it just draws you closer to your family and to yourself and to God, because you're just like in his creation.
Right. And it slows you down a little
Right.
bit, doesn't it?
And then you can, like I said, you leave your to-do list in the car and you put on your shoes and you just get into nature and just try to slow down.
I don't know about you, but I think something like this is really important at the age that we live in, when we're stuck to screens all day. I just looked up my phone, folks, in case anybody wanted to know that. So, yeah, I mean, we're connected to these screens, and they're, like, dictating our whole life. And yet, like, that's why I just love seeing this little girl swinging and playing out in the yard, because I'm like, oh, her imagination's running away with it. I remember when my kids were little, we were outdoors camping, and this other group came with us, and they weren't used to camping. Of course, they were kind of grumpy about it. You know, oh, no, it doesn't feel good to camp, and where I have to go to the bathroom there, you know, that kind of stuff. But what struck me even more is that they didn't have any imagination.
Yeah.
And sometimes that wonder that we talked about, I would think, encourages imagination. And imagination, of course, it encourages creativity.
Right.
And creativity comes from the word creation, and creation comes from creator.
Yes.
So
exactly.
It points back to him, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the verse I was talking about in Romans 1:25. They exchanged the truth of God for a lie and worshipped and served created things rather than the Creator, who is forever to be praised. Amen. So that's really what I want, is to see creation, but then see God, the Creator, who loves you more than anything. Like you said in Job, who puts the breath in our lungs. It's just so much more important when you're going out into nature, and you're just like, the wonder and the awe that you can experience through seeing new life be born, like the little baby chick hatching out of the egg, or the mom robin bringing her worm back to her little babies in her nest. And it's just amazing that God created everything on this earth.
I know. And
there's a
I'm
system.
talking about that order and that system. Sometimes it helps me to rest, knowing that, well, if God created all of this, he can take care of me, all right?
Right.
You know? And by the way, we were created by him too, so there's that. You know, in Psalm 139, it talks about how he knows every hair on our head, and he created us in the womb, and all those kinds of features. So
right.
He's a pretty big creator, and a lot of times when we think of creativity, people who are creative, like most people think of like artists, you know, somebody who paints. Well, most of the time, do you know what they're painting?
Creation.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then, you know, color palettes. You know how they have color palettes and the latest trend in paint colors and all that stuff? Guess where all that comes from?
Right. From creation. Yes.
Yes. From nature, from creation. In fact, I even get ideas about colors that I would like around me by observing nature.
Right.
And like I don't think I would ever think of putting purple and yellow together, but then when I see a purple, yellow, and pink flower, for some reason it just aesthetically pleases me.
Right.
And it gets me going. You understand what I'm saying?
And I think too, once we're in eternity with God and we have the new earth, how much more beautiful things are going to be. Like, can our minds even? My mind can't even imagine, but I'm like so excited for that too.
Yeah, me too.
The colors are going to be so much more vibrant, and you won't need glasses to see them.
And the light. There's something going to happen with light. I'm convinced, because God is light.
Right, God is light.
There's going to be some kind of prisms or light or something. Because I think of that verse, Psalm 34:5. Those who look to him are radiant.
Yes.
Their faces are never covered with shame. So I'm thinking, okay, if we're not covered with shame, because in this life we are,
right? We're going to be shining.
Yeah.
So there's not going to. That's why there's not going to be a sun. That's why the sun was created later in creation, because God was the light of the world. But then he needed to give us light, because he knew we weren't going to be able to shine the light that he was going to put into us after we were free of sin.
That's right.
And I never thought of that before.
Yeah, and I also think of, like, in Ephesians 2:10, it says masterpiece, and so we're a piece of the master, so we're designed to reflect him. And everything in nature is a piece of the master too.
Right.
So it's sort of like, like sometimes I look at the horses and I go, wow, that shows me the majesty and the empathy of God, because horses actually are very empathetic creatures.
Right.
There's so much to this. So tell me a little bit more. Like, let's say I decide that I want to come to one of your programs, and I'm going to bring I have a new grandson, but he's a little too young yet because he's only like 2 weeks old. But let's say I'm going to bring I want to bring my grandson to one of your programs. What can I expect?
So right now I have a Nature Tots program for 3 to 5-year-olds. And if you have older kids, they can come as well. It's just geared towards younger kids, but older kids will just get just as much, or they'll help teach the younger kids. And normally I have a theme for each time we meet. So my next one coming up is on insects. And the park that we go to has a pond, and it has a forest and a meadow. So we're going to go out and explore what different insects live in those different ecosystems. And it's just really cool to see the difference and the life cycles of when you're like going in the pond and you see like a damselfly larva that you might not see if you don't see that because it lives inside the pond. And then when it comes out, that's when it gets rid of its exoskeleton and then it flies away. And it's just always so fun to see the different life cycles in the different ecosystems right in that space.
So it sounds like there's obviously there'll be an education.
Yes, there is an education piece that comes to play into.
As well as just being exposed and being in nature, there's an educational piece. It sounds like school groups. This might be cool for school groups or small.
Yeah, I do have like an older school group called Nature Taught. And it's like getting into nature and going deeper. And so my next class is on life cycles. So we're also going to go to the pond and try to find those damselfly larvae and then maybe find the damselfly after it has hatched out of its exoskeleton. And so there is a level of education, but also when you get kids out into nature, their experience kind of shapes how we move.
Right.
Like, so I have like a plan, right? I have a
fluid.
plan of what I want to teach, but if we find something so much cooler, we're going to stop and focus on that thing. Because like I said earlier, it's like you walk out in nature one day, it's completely different the next day. You just want to see that.
I always say I like to plan to float.
Mm.
Like I'm planning because obviously you have to be intentional to take the hike or to sign up for the class or whatever. You have to be intentional about this. Mm-hmm. But what happens could be anything. God could just show anything like this salamander thing.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Well, okay.
They're not slimy. Salamanders are not slimy.
Okay. See, now, I would know that.
Yeah.
They would help people understand some of these things about what they're experiencing.
Yeah, and to get rid of that fear or that maybe disgust. If you see something, they're like, ooh, I don't want to touch that. But if you do touch that, it's okay. You can. I mean, wash your hands. But it's fun to have that hands-on exploration, even if you're nervous to touch it, like to show you don't have to be afraid. Because I don't think God ever wanted us to be afraid of the things that he created. So.
And the other thing that I'm catching as you talk, Melody, is it's about creating memories too, isn't it?
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's like what I like right now with the parents being there, because they're creating memories with their children that they might not have created before by slowing down. And I know for myself, that's hard for me too, to slow down and be like, all right, I want to see what my kids are learning, because we're so like, let's go. And to stop and see what they're doing has been more than valuable.
But you have to be intentional, right?
Right. Yeah.
So parents, if you're listening out there, you might have to be intentional. You might have to sign up for the class so that you will go out in nature.
Right.
Because otherwise all of a sudden years pass and you go, we never took those walks. Mm-hmm. We never were present. Here at Maple Ridge Place, we have our saying is his presence, our healing. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things I think is a gift of nature anyway is to sense God's presence.
Yes.
And there's something so healing about just being connected to God. So do you have any particular stories about ways that you connect? You talked about this poem that you wrote. Tell me a little bit about that, or another way that you connected with God.
I would say that it was the rest I think I needed, is how I connected with God. with him through like the slowing down and the rest, just acknowledging that he created all these things, that I matter more than even the salamander. And it kind of just brings me peace to know that he'll take care of me regardless. Because sometimes in this world we're like, I have to work and do this and this and this. But no, God promises he will provide. And when I go into nature, it's like a reminder of his promises.
The scripture talks about the sparrow.
Yes,
if I'm
exactly.
going to clothe and take care of the sparrow, aren't I going to take care of you?
Yes.
But so it sounds like to me that if you start swirling around in your brain, you start getting worked up and you got so much going on, you probably just need to go out in nature.
Right.
Right.
And if you don't feel safe, find someone who feels safe, who wants to go for a hike with you. Because sometimes if you don't know a trail, it might be a little intimidating. But once you are out there, yes, your brain can just kind of slow down and your perspective changes. Because when you're inside four walls, your brain kind of shuts down a little bit because there's boundaries. But when you go out in nature, there's no boundaries. So your brain is free and your vision is different. I had a friend who shared with me, she did a nature school when she was younger, and she would take people out. And when she was out so much in nature, her vision like physically changed. Like she had to have glasses, but through that time for like 2 years or 3 years, she was in nature and she didn't actually have to wear glasses because her vision increased.
Wow.
Because she wasn't enclosed in a box of...
I wonder if there's research that says it slows down your heart rate or something. Blood pressure or something like
Right.
that.
I mean, they say that because nature bathing is a thing, in air quotes. Like, people pay for that.
What is nature
I think
bathing?
it's more of a, like, worshiping the creation than creator. But, yes, it slows you down to step out from your phone or your screen and walk through nature. It's more of like a city thing where you're constantly surrounded by cement all the time and all that.
So I'm just curious, do you have people leave their cell phones at home when they do this?
I mean, they could.
It's kind of hard, isn't it?
It's fun because it is fun, yes, to capture the memories.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I think that could be a future thing of being like, all right, this is specifically for connecting with God in his creation without the world around us.
No cell phones or something.
Right, exactly.
No cell phone hike.
Yes,
something.
exactly.
You could do a program like that. I don't know. I'm just throwing out things. So tell me, how can people learn about your programs and know a little bit more about what's going on?
So they could go to my website, natureawaits.org. All my programs are listed there. Through the summer, I will have Nature Tots, which is a class for 3 to 5-year-olds. And then I'm also doing a fishing class, teaching kids and their adults how to fish.
Oh, okay.
And that's always been a passion of mine. My dad is a charter fisherman, and so I grew up going fishing, and I've taught kids how to fish in the past, and just having a camp where kids can get the hands-on experience to learn how to fish, an important skill to learn, even if it's not something you continue to do. It's just like a fun skill to do. So
sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Now tell me, if there's one thing that you would like to tell our listeners, what would that be?
I would say it's to stop and go outside.
You heard it, folks, here. Melody said, just stop. Stop. Put the cell phones away. Stop looking at your screen and just go outside. Thanks, Melody, for being here.
Thank you so much.
Listening to Melody today reminded me of something I learned years ago in a book study. We were reading Captivating, and one of the ideas in the book was that God is constantly pursuing our hearts, that he romances us by revealing his love in personal and meaningful ways. I'll be honest, when I first heard that, I thought, that sounds a little strange. But the more I reflected on it, the more I began to wonder if maybe God is showing up all around us. We're just moving too fast to notice. Even then, God was forming in my heart the reason for this podcast. The next week, everyone in our group shared their experiences. One woman told us that whenever she was struggling, feeling lonely, or needed reassurance, deer would unexpectedly appear.
not only once or twice, but over and over again. She had come to see these moments as God's gentle way of reminding her, I'm here. You're not alone. I've never forgotten her story. And I think that's one of the beautiful gifts Melody taught us today. She invites us to slow down long enough to notice, to see God's fingerprints in creation, to let nature become more than just scenery. Instead, it becomes an invitation to connect with the Creator. Job 12:7-10 says, But ask the animals, and they will teach you, or the birds in the sky, and they will tell you. In his hand is the life of every creature and the breath of all mankind. I love that picture because it reminds me that creation has always been pointing us back to God. So friends, I have a simple challenge for you. Go outside, take a walk, sit by the water, watch the birds, notice the trees dancing in the wind. Look for those little things you might overlook. And ask yourself, God, what do you want me to notice today? You may not see deer like my friend did, but I believe if you're paying attention, you'll discover that God has a beautiful way of meeting each of us personally. Sometimes it's in the stillness, sometimes in creation, and sometimes it's simply in the quiet assurance that you're deeply known, deeply loved, and never walking alone. Until next time, take notice.
Or kindness, Lord.